All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to AA Wellness Presents Black VAC Edutainment Town Hall Family Feud. Woo woo! All right. So we are excited tonight to have this edutainment town hall, this discussion regarding Black VAC. And so let me tell you a little bit, what is Black VAC? Well, thanks for asking. Well, Black VAC is a grassroots collaboration of many organizations representing a community of one, ensuring that equity, services, factual information is provided to the African American community regarding the vaccine. So we're going to have some fun tonight, as many different organizations represented in Black VAC are the PAC organization, NBC4, Franklin County Public Health, Columbus Metropolitan Housing Authority, Community Shelter Board, the Ohio Collective, the Ohio State University, YWCA, Family Faith Missionary Baptist Church, Columbus, Ohio Chapter National Medical Association, and all presented and facilitated by the African American Male Wellness Agency, Columbus Urban League, and many other organizations are represented here for Black VAC. But what's the big purpose? The purpose is to make sure that you all can make an informed decision regarding your health, regarding the vaccine, to take the next steps, the proper steps that we know that the African American community needs to take advantage of. So that's why we're here, to present the information. And without further ado, we will have some fun with this family feud presented by NBC4's own host, Mr. Matthew Barnes. So welcome everybody, and let's have some fun.
Let's have some fun indeed. What's up, everybody? I'm your fake Steve Harvey, Matt Barnes. Good to have you with us. We're gonna have a good time tonight as we kind of give some facts about this COVID-19 vaccine, but do it with a little fun. We have two great teams of great community leaders involved on Team Pro and Team Con. So we'll get to them in just a bit. First, I'm just gonna give away a little bit of the rules so you all understand what we're doing. This is a modified Family Feud format. So it's going to be a little different than what you see maybe in the Steve Harvey version. I'm going to ask a question. After that, I'm going to have one person from Team Pro and Team Con be the first one to yell out an answer. Whoever gets it right, if they have the top or the highest answer that I have, that team will choose to pass or play. That's just like the game. And then we'll go through the rest of the team to see if they can get all 5 or 6 of my answers. If they do, they get all the points. If they get 3 strikes, though, we'll go to the other team. One player from that team will get a chance to steal those points. We'll get through as many questions as we can. After each question, we are going to go to our resident expert, Dr. BJ Hicks, who is going to then explain a little bit more about the question so you can have a better understanding of whatever issue involving the vaccine there is. So whoever has the most points at the end wins. Even though no one wins, we all win, because we're going to have a good time and get a lot of great information to our community out there. So without further ado, I want to get to our 10 amazing contestants / community members that have decided to volunteer for this call. We'll start with Team Pro, and Marlon Platt, take it away. Explain who you are, why you decided to do this.
Hello, everybody out there. My name is Marlon Platt. I'm the executive director for the African American Male Wellness Agency. I am Team Pro. I have received both doses of the Pfizer vaccine, and I am in the belief, after talking to many of my medical professional friends, of trusting the science so that we can all move forward.
Dr. Joseph, go for it.
Well, good evening, everyone. Joshua Joseph, Team Pro, whoop, whoop. And I'm doing this tonight because, look, I love the community, and I want us all to be able to move forward together. So happy to be here and look forward to this.
By far the best dressed member of all of us here, Miss Pamela Shields. You got to unmute yourself first.
I'm so excited to talk, Matt Barnes. Hi, everybody. I'm Pamela Shields. I am the recent founder and organizer of the Urban Aging Resident Coalition that will now be under the affiliation of the African American Wellness Agency. So I took the vaccine 2 weeks ago, and tomorrow I will get the second. After following the science, our community leaders, I decided to be a gift to myself and improve the quality of my life.
You're a gift to us all with that outfit. I love it. President Hightower, go for it.
Good evening. I too have taken the Pfizer vaccine, both doses, and I'm here on Team Pro tonight because this is about how much I love Black people, and we've got to love ourselves, and we must stay healthy, and we must take the vaccine because the science says that's what we must do.
That's right.
Amen. Amen. Pastor Lamar, it's good to have you with us. If you'll educate everyone who you are.
All right. I am the pastor of the Family Missionary Baptist Church and member of the Baptist Pastors Conference and the Baptist Ministers Alliance and the IMA. And I'm taking it because we are the pastors are the leaders in the community, and we want to lead and let folks know that we need to take it so we all stay healthy.
All right, so that is Team Pro, our 5 great contestants there. We have Team Con. That doesn't mean they're against the vaccine, but they're going to be Team Con for our game right now. And we'll begin with the man you heard from the beginning, Ms. Jerome Hathaway.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jerome Hathaway. I am the Chief Strategy Officer of the National Center for Urban Solutions and oversee the African American Male Wellness Agency. And I received my dose from the Holy Ghost. No, I'm just joking with you guys. I'm on Team Con, but I am here for the purpose of, I really want people to have the education that they need to be educated regarding the vaccine. And I think that's very important that we all get the information that's needed.
Yes.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Also on Team Con, Coach, go for it.
Hi, I am Coach. I'm the Assistant Director at the Academy for Urban Scholars High School in Columbus. And I am on Team Con because in my research, according to the Centers for Disease Control, even with taking the COVID vaccine, you can still contract the virus and you can become a carrier, and you can have, but you can be asymptomatic. You won't have the symptoms or anything like that, but you will still have the virus and you can still spread it. So I just really didn't see the point in actually taking it if you could still get the virus and still be a carrier and spread it.
All right, see, we're gonna get some answers here. I like this.
Yeah.
Let's go to Tyrone. Tyrone, where are you? And let us know why you're on Team Con.
Hi, I'm Tyrone Thomas. I am a neighborhood person. I'm all over the city doing all the things I do. So I won't go in that long list. I am on the con side because of all the things I know about history, because of where I grew up near the Tuscaloosa area where previous experiments were, and the fact that I've been told that it hadn't passed the third stage of the trials, which is the clinicals. And once it passes that, I'd be pro. I'd probably be pro. I encourage everybody that wants to take the vaccine to take it. You know, that's my personal feelings. Does not have anything to do with you as an individual protecting yourself. So I wear my mask. Sometimes I wear 2 and 3 because I know that works, but I'm not dead set that the vaccine is what I want in my body.
That's fair. That is fair. Tony, let us know why you're on Team Con.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tony Lowry. I am the owner-operator of Old School Barbershop on the east side of Columbus. And I am con for a variety of different reasons. And like Mr. Halfway there, I'm blessed by God, and I do have a faith base. More importantly, though, there is a distrust in our community where it dates back to 1932, where over 600 Black men were infected with the syphilis shot and was not informed about the treatments of that such. And so I don't trust. In addition to that, we're actually, and if we want to be real about it, we're actually not talking about a virus, a vaccine, and I think we're being tricked into that. We're actually, I think we should probably be talking about a device or whatnot. and not a vaccine. So I'm con.
And the last on Team Con, Bridget, go for it.
Hi, I'm Bridget Boffman. I'm engagement specialist for NCUS and the Academy for Urban Scholars. I am pro-con because of the unknown, and more than the unknown is the side effects that it has greatly for women. Until those answers are solved for me, I am Team Con. Thank you.
All right, so there you go. And it's good to hear the different reasons why people are for and against, or at least questioning this vaccine right now, because we know there are people in our community doing that. You see the numbers. While the vaccine may be accessible to certain segments of our community, they're not interested in getting it. We're hoping to give you the information that will maybe ease your mind, or at least give you something to think about. So maybe when it is your turn, which, let's be honest, by next week, it's going to be almost everyone's turn, you will take advantage of the chance to get that vaccine and hopefully bring an end to this pandemic fairly soon. All right, so I have a buzzer ready to go. I'm ready to start this game. We will start. Let's just start with the coworkers, Marlon Pratt and Shrum Hathaway. Get you two off mute real quick.
I'm off mute, Matt.
All right, the first question is going to go to you all. Your team's depending on you. Your first question is, top 6 answers, by the way, on the board that you cannot see. Name a reason people are choosing not to get the vaccine. Whoever yells out an answer first.
Tuskegee.
I will give you that. That is my number 2 answer, which will say systemic racism. I'm going to incorporate that. Mr. Hathaway, if you can give me the number 1 answer, your team can play.
It's got pork in it.
Pork. Really?
Good answer.
Hold on, I gotta get my buzzer ready because I got to buzz you for that. That come on now. I'm so excited about this buzzer, so we're gonna.
I don't believe that. I just saying that's one of the answers that
I know, but that's not it. All right, so Marlon, you gonna pass or play, Team Pro?
We'll play, Matt.
They're gonna play. All right. So, Dr. Joseph, we are going to you next. Give me a reason. Name a reason people are choosing not to get the vaccine. 5 answers left.
They're wearing a mask instead. They're using other measures. They're wearing a mask.
That is correct. That is our number 4 answer, using other protective measures. So 2 and 4 are out. Next up, Ms. Pamela Shields. If you're unmute, I need another one from you. Why are people choosing not to get the vaccine right now?
They're afraid that they will get another disease behind it.
Woo! Next.
No.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. So that's strike 1. President Hightower. The next one, the same thing. Why are people choosing not to take the vaccine?
At the Urban League, we know that there's not enough access. They don't have access to the vaccine.
That is correct. That's number 6 answer. The process, the difficulty scheduling, it has been tough. All right, so that's 2, 4, and 6 off the board. Pastor Lamar, you are next. 3 answers still out there. Why are people choosing to not take the vaccine?
Because they really don't believe that there's a virus.
That is the number 1 answer. Mistrust and doubt. Yes, absolutely. I thought that'd be the quickest one. All right. Still 2 more answers. We're right back to you, Marlon. You have 10 seconds. Why are people choosing not to take the vaccine?
They don't know where to get the vaccine.
Yeah, no, that's an answer. Sorry. That's 2 strikes. So Team Con, get ready. You have a chance to steal. We go back to Dr. Joseph. 2 answers left. Why are people choosing not to get the vaccine?
Well, one of the big things, I had my vaccine. My arm hurt a little bit afterwards. And the second one I got, I had a little bit of chills and stuff. So maybe side effects. I'll go with side effects.
That is answer number 3. So there you go. Boom. So 5 out of the 6 answers are done. We go back to Ms. Shields. You can clear the board, Ms. Shields, if you can give me the number 5 answer. Why?
Oh, please don't put that pressure on me, please. Senior
It is
citizen,
on you.
I
I'm
don't
so
know
sorry.
this stuff.
You have 10 seconds.
They think they're getting a microchip put in them. I don't know. The senior citizens, we don't believe in it anyway. A microchip put in.
No,
Oh, no.
I'm so sorry. That is the final one. All right, so we're going to Team Con. Mr. Hathaway, you can answer the question, or you can choose someone else to answer it for your team.
Well,
hold on, guys. Before we do that, we're gonna hear from Dr. Hicks.
No. They get a chance to steal first.
Oh, they get a chance to steal. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. All right, so here's what we're going to do for Team Con. We're going to go to Mr. Tyrone. I'm gonna pass it to you, Mr. Tyrone. I'm gonna pass it to you.
All right, Mr. Tyrone, 10 seconds. A reason people are choosing to not take the vaccine. There is one answer left. You have to unmute and you have to let me know.
Conspiracy theory.
Good answer.
That's incorrect. Team Pro gets the points. Those points, if I add them up in my head, would be, you got 95 points. Well done. The last answer, by the way, was it's not mandated. It is not mandated. What's your number 5 answer? We're going to go to our resident expert, Dr. Hicks. When we think about, the reasons people don't take this vaccine, as you hear it as a doctor, when you hear these different reasons, what are you doing to kind of ease their minds? Because they kind of go all across the board, everything from systemic racism to doubt to just, it's hard to schedule right now.
Yes, and thanks everyone for their candor. Like we say in medicine a lot, no comment is the wrong comment, or no thought is the wrong thought, no question is the wrong question. So I think what we as medical professionals want to make sure we do not do is talk over people and kind of use our holier than thou type place in the grand scheme of kind of medical care and kind of talk down to our patients. So what I always like to do, and it might be a little tough here because we're family feuding, so we're coming with the theories and the thoughts that aren't really grounded in science from a lot of different angles, but some of the thoughts are really kind of legitimate. So I always like to do a one-on-one and really talk to the individual in front of me or the individuals in front of me and unpack and talk through every concern that they may have. If I start with one thing, then I might lose them because that certain individual might say, yeah, I know all that. I understand it has nothing to do with Tuskegee because Tuskegee, that horrific act of terror and sedition, that was by withholding the latest and greatest in medical science from a select group of Black folk in rural Alabama. That was hiding the therapy and giving the therapy to everybody else around the country and around the world for decades and decades. Whereas, for instance, the COVID vaccine is providing these same therapies to every human being across at least throughout these United States and in Central Ohio. And we're not withholding something from one group of people and giving it to someone else. So although Tuskegee is something that's near and dear to some people's hearts, and that may be a legitimate reason why there's a distrust in how healthcare is given to Black folk in this country, that's not everybody's issue. I know a lot of people that say, yeah, I think I heard of Tuskegee growing up, or somebody said something about Tuskegee, but I don't really know. I just know that I don't trust, this, that, and the third. So you really have to talk to individuals and try to break each one of their thoughts down and rooted in science.
Dr. Hicks, I appreciate that. We're going to go back to you in just a bit here as we head to our second question. Team Pro, Team Con, hope you guys have warmed up. You've got a feeling for the game. Our second question will go to Dr. Joseph and Coach. So if you're on mute, the first person to give me an answer will have a chance to give their team the chance to play or pass. The question is, name a common myth about what is in the vaccine.
DNA altering things.
Yes, that's me number 4. That is number 4. That's the 4th answer. Sorry, top 5 answers, by the way. So there are 3 answers better than that. Dr. Joseph, you have an answer that might be better than that.
Well, I'm going to go back to something that was said earlier. I can't remember if it was Sharon that said it, but somebody said pork. So I'm going to go with pork.
Pork is number 5. So with that said, Team Con, you got the higher answer. You get to pass or play. What does your team want to do?
What do you want to do, team? What do you want to do? Come on, come on.
Play.
Play.
We're gonna play.
Let's
We're gonna play.
Let's play. Yay!
All right, Team Con, you're going to play. They're at the top 3 answers on the board, so, I mean, you got a good chance here. Tyrone, you are next. I need one of the top 3 answers. Name a common myth about what is in the vaccine.
The virus.
And that is the number 1 answer. There you go. Yes. And we'll explain that in a bit, whether it is or not, because obviously it's a myth. We're saying that. So yes, the virus. That is the number 1 answer in terms of a myth of what is in the vaccine. Tony, you are next. 2 answers left.
Oh, let's see. That it'll kill you.
Something to kill you.
It's got to be in the virus. So I know what you're saying. That's an effect, but yeah, it's okay. It's only strike 1. It's only strike 1. It's okay, Tom. Bridget, you are next. A myth of something that is in the virus.
A microchip.
That is number 2, a tracking device of some sort, right? Let's be honest, I got a phone. The government's tracking me all day. But yes, a tracking device. That is the number 2 myth. There's only 1 answer left, Team Con. You're doing great. We have to go now to Shrome. You can clear the board right here. Mr. Halfway, what you got?
Well, depending on where you get it, might be nothing in it.
Good answer.
I know what you're saying because it happened in somewhere in Pennsylvania. They got it later in the week. But yes, that's not my answer. I'm sorry. That's strike 2. Team Pro, get ready to steal. If Coach cannot come up with the last answer here, 2 strikes. Coach, you have 10 seconds.
Baby parts.
I'm looking at my judges, which is me, myself, and I.
They think it's baby parts, like baby fetuses, long thingies, all of that kind of stuff.
You know what? My last answer is human fetal cells. I'll give it to you. You cleared the board. There you go. All of those are things I know I've heard, we've seen on internet, blogs and message boards. And you know, you can trust anything on the internet, right? No. So Dr. Hicks, I want to come back to you. When we think about what is in the vaccine, we always hear maybe what is not in it, or you know, what is in it and why is it safe? Kind of debunk those common myths that we always seem to hear.
So what is in it? And I think that its simplicity is what's so great about it. The problem with the vaccine and what really makes it so easy to transmit and could cause such a bad problem in our body, and why it's killed 500,000 Americans, 500,000 Americans, majority Black and brown, 500,000 Americans, I repeat. So what it has on the surface of the cell is what's called a spike protein, and it just looks like those little jagged portions, and that's what makes it very distinct, and that's what really makes it aggressively bind to other cells in the body and really replicate and cause a lot of harm. So the beauty of the vaccines, the begetting vaccines, the Moderna and the Pfizer, those are the first 2 that were approved after tens of thousands of humans around the country were safely tested with it. What it has within it is just a copy of what's called mRNA. And that's just a way that our body can replicate something. So in this case, it wants the body to look out for those spikes. So what that mRNA does is it gets into the body and it creates more spikes around our body. So the mRNA is there, number 1. The second thing is lipid, so fat, not poke, POK, not poke, not pork, none of that. Lipids, which is a natural it's an oily material, which once you eat your pork, you could end up with some lipid in your body. But lipid is just a bubbly substance that allows that small mRNA, that very delicate mRNA, to be balanced in your body and not quickly dissolve and disintegrate and not be able to replicate or kind of move around and grow in the body. The other thing is salt, saline, because the reason why that's there is because when it gets into the body, we want it to not be completely foreign to us, completely wild and not work. We need it to softly enter our cells and have it be the same, what's called pH. You remember that, secret deodorant pH balance, like that's basic science. You want the pH to be similar to the cells in the body. So those are the three main things. We've got to think about this. Just take a deep breath and say, what would the world, do we need? We have these, everybody has this. If we need to be tracked, what happens when this is gone for 15 minutes and you don't know where it is? You can't survive without these things anymore. This is our tracking device. Getting this in a body, in the cell, we're not that far in science. I love Terminator 2, I love science fiction, but the science is not there for something like a microchip or some other sort of tracking device. It's not the way that these vaccines are created. It's created so those spike proteins can get around and around in our cells, so our body can know and look out for it and be on the lookout for it. So if we were to ever be in front of COVID, instead of being in my neurological ICU or a medical ICU at Riverside Methodist Hospital where I work, that treats more COVID patients than anywhere around, where people unfortunately are passing away far too early, where Black folks, our life expectancy is dropped by 3 years, which is unprecedented because of this terrible virus. Now, because this vaccine is in our bodies, those that have taken the vaccine or that will soon get it, we now understand and kind of know what to look out for. So God forbid, if we're ever in front of the virus and it gets into us, our body quickly knows how to fight it, and it does not become something that leads you into the hospital, into the ICU, and into a funeral home.
Dr. Hicks, appreciate it. It's really, it's what we always hear, and it's nice to get it broken down by a doctor in the most layman terms you can. For somebody who didn't go to medical school for 20 years. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. We're going to go to question 3. Yeah, Howard. Props to Howard.
Morehouse man, but Howard for med school. That's why I'm rocking this.
Appreciate it. Hey. All right, question 3. Hope our teams are ready. From Team Com, Tyrone, you're up. And then Miss Shields from Team Pro, the question will go to you. And this one is, with top 5 answers on the board, name a benefit of getting the COVID-19 vaccine.
To improve the quality of your life.
To just beat you to it, can you be more specific?
Keeps you from getting sick, as Dr. Hicks just said, and it keeps you out of the hospital, ICU, and ultimately out of the funeral home.
We'll go with the first thing you said, which was keeps you from getting sick, so protection for yourself. Yes, that is the number one answer. So with that, your team gets to pass or play. They're going to play. All right, that does not surprise me. Team Pro wants to play this one. All right, so President Hightower, 4 answers left. You are the next one. Name a benefit of getting the COVID-19 vaccine. We've already said protection for yourself.
You get to see your grandchildren, your family, and hug them and kiss them.
That is our number 5 answer. Yes, it then is safely able to gather. It could be the effectiveness of it to gather with family members and friends. So yes, that is number 5. All right, Pastor Lamar, same thing. Give me a benefit of getting the COVID-19 vaccine.
It keeps you from spreading it to others.
There you go. Protection for others is number 2 answer. We are rolling right along. So 1, 2, and 5 are gone. Still have 3 and 4. Marlon Platt, the captain for this team. I need an answer from you now. Why do you always look like you're confused? Come on, you got this. You got to unmute though too.
Show is way easier when it's on TV. Outside can open back up.
Good answer. Good answer. Good answer.
That is a good answer, but it's not an answer. So that's a strike. It's okay. It's all right. It's only one strike.
That was a great answer.
Dr. Joseph, we have 2 answers left. Not 3 and 4, a benefit of getting the COVID-19 vaccine.
I'm thinking about something Dr. Hicks was talking about. He said that these vaccines are effective. He said that they work well. I remember him talking about that. I'm going to go with that they work well.
Good answer.
That is the number 4 answer right there. They are effective. You see the number is 90 to 95% effective for Pfizer and Moderna. I don't know about your guys' grades, but 90 to 95 is always pretty good for me. So yes, that is the number 4 answer. We still have the number 3 answer. We go right back to Ms. Shields. Ms. Shields, you can clear the board, give Team Pro all the points.
It's now available for everyone, including your children, family members, neighbors, everybody.
That
Even
is a great answer.
Good answer.
and don't drink the bleach.
That is a great answer. But it's not in our 5 answers. So that's 2 strikes. President Hightower, last chance for you, Team Pro. Ruminate about it, think about it. Name a benefit of getting the COVID-19 vaccine.
Oh. We can open up our businesses again.
That's close. That's close enough.
That's close enough. Yeah, I think the judge will take that. It will help stop the pandemic. I will give you that. That'll clear the board. So with that, that's another 95 points. By the way, Team Con, you got 90 on the last one when they added them up. So that's 90 for Team Con, 95 for That's 190
That
to 90
is the
after 3
same
questions.
answer that Marlon gave.
No.
He
What?
said
No.
outside will open back up.
Don't hate Coach. Don't hate
That's
Coach.
the
Don't
same
hate Coach.
answer.
Say it again, Coach.
Don't hate
That
Coach.
is the same answer. Marlon said outside will open back up. And she
You ain't
said
on our team,
business
be
will
quiet.
Open back up.
You ain't on our team, be quiet.
Either way, they win, right?
But that's, isn't that right, Mr. Hathaway? And Miss Bridget?
You right.
I
It's a
agree.
real family feud.
Hey, either
That's
way,
the
Team
same
Pro,
answer.
Team Pro got the points. But yeah, Dr. Hicks, we're going to bring you back in. we kind of talked about all the myths of the vaccine, and you kind of mentioned what it does to your body. But just in general, the benefits of getting this vaccine and what it means, not just for your personal protection, but just for the whole state of this pandemic and getting back to what we consider normal.
I'm gonna have to watch my mouth because I don't want to get someone to choke slam me on this thing. But y'all get a little testy tonight. But no, in all seriousness, the reasons that were brought up just now were beautiful ones. The main thing is that we are in a pandemic. We have a lot of things that we love that have been robbed from us safely, for all the right reasons. But everything that we had come to take for granted just by being humans, it's now been taken away so we can survive. And one of my colleagues, she's a primary care physician here in town, Dr. Kim Austin, and she said it beautifully when I was talking with her. She said, there's 2 ways out of this pandemic, y'all. There is the vaccine and there is getting COVID. That's it. And when you get COVID, medical science, we're doing great work. Wexner Medical Center, Mount Carmel, Ohio Health, we're all doing the best we can to take care of COVID patients. But, who knows what 40-year-old ends up in the ICU when they're intubated. And the percentages of patients that end up off of being intubated, and kind of returning without any deficits from COVID. I don't want to say the percentage, but it's scary. So, we have some therapies to try to help if you ever get COVID, God forbid, but the best way is to avoid getting it in the first place. And that is what the vaccines do. And it gives us an out. It gives us the ability to prime our bodies to already be familiar with what's out there and what's killing and causing irreparable harm to all of us that we know and love. So when we do that, when we have vaccines, and you can look at other parts of the country, Israel, or other parts of the world, Israel is an example because they've gotten so many people vaccinated. Now they're back doing things. Same with other countries, you know, in Southeast Asia. They were able to use strategies to make sure that a lot of people didn't get the vaccine in the first place. So then it's not, you know, ripping through their areas. So they're able to safely reopen and safely be with family members. So there's so much that we can do as long as the case number drops. If the case numbers drop, and that's why, you know, our state government said the same thing. We're not going to blindly open up and say we need to open up for business, because then we end up doing this. But if we get to a point where there's not a lot of virus around and we have a lot of people that have been protected with the safe vaccines, then we're safely able to be doing the things that we love, which is hugging our loved ones safely, being around our friends and family, doing a cool family feud like this in person, you know, so we can high five instead of just kind of look at each other on a screen. So these are all great reasons you guys mentioned why we've got to proceed with tampering down the numbers of COVID. And the safest way to do that is with a vaccine. I'd rather have a bit of a headache for a little bit and maybe a little soreness in my arm and maybe a few other quote unquote side effects that go away like this and go away with some Tylenol and some Motrin than playing roulette with something that is disproportionately killing us.
Real quick, just a follow up on that. What is the percentage that they say that we either need to get vaccinated for us to feel confident that, we talk about that herd immunity thing. You know, some people say everyone should just get herd immunity and get COVID, but I think I prefer the whole let's get vaccinated herd immunity route.
Right. You know, and again, a lot of people, and I've heard this from, you know, one of these like distant relatives through marriage sort of thing. And what I hear a lot is that, hey, I'm healthy, you know, I'm young, I work out, I'm not obese, I don't have asthma, I don't have a lot of the classic risk factors that leads to mortality or leads to death from COVID, so I'm cool, you know. Not to be, you know, not to step on anybody's toes and be a little disrespectful, but that is some of the most selfish way of thinking about this. We've got to think about our community. You know, President Hightower said it best. We got to think about our community. We want our businesses open. We want our loved ones safe. So you're 20, 30 years old and you think that, you know, just because you work out at the gym and, you know, you're looking swole or whatever, and you're an athlete, that you're cool. What about your aunt? What about your neighbor? What about your loved one? What about your older brother who isn't in great shape? What about him? What about your daughter who has asthma? What about her best friend at school who has asthma? What about their teacher who has, you know, high blood pressure and diabetes and other risk factors? So this is a community thing. We've got to really think about how our personal actions are affecting everyone around us. And it is getting a shot that it's been studied in our people in high percentages. You know, the science did not run away from Black folk. They were high percentages. Thankfully, this is a study these are studies we can be proud of, because our people were a part of them in percentages that are similar, if not greater than, you know, communities like Columbus, Ohio. So we were well represented and it was safe with us, just like it's safe with other human beings. And the side effects are very, very small considering the potential damage we could wreak on our small communities, our, you know, people we live with, people in our apartment complex, or people in our neighborhood, people in our city, our state, our country at large.
Beautifully put. Thank you, Dr. Hicks. Yeah, I just did a story, or it'll air on Tuesday, but I just did a Zoom with an Olympian who's going to the U.S. wrestling trials, and he's about 32, probably obviously he's an Olympic athlete, 2016 bronze medalist. He got COVID back in November, and my man had an oxygen machine attached to him for 2 weeks. Best shape of I mean, no one's in better shape among this group. And when he told me it was a real deal, and I mean, young black man at 32 going to the Olympics and won a bronze medal, he's on an oxygen machine for two weeks. I'm ready for this vaccine. All right, we are going to our fourth question. And we got a couple hints because Dr. Hicks went a little off script, which is all good, not his fault. But Tony and President Hightower, you two are the ones I need off mute to give me one of my top 5 answers. And feel free to steal one of Dr. Hicks's answers. I need you to name a common side effect of the vaccine.
Sore arm.
Sore arm is our #1 answer. Sorry, Tony, too slow. So, Team Pro, there are 4 answers left. You want to pass or play?
Play.
They want to play. Team Con, too slow off the trigger. But you might get a chance to steal later. Pastor Lamar, you are up. There are 4 side effects left. Name a common one for me.
Fever.
Fever, chills is my #2 answer. So there you go. Got the top 2 off the board.
Good answer.
Marlon Platt, the most confident man on the Zoom. It is up to you now. Come on now. Keep it going. Keep it rolling here. Name a common side effect of the vaccine.
Come on, baby.
Headache.
Headache is my #3 answer. How about that? There we go.
Be back.
Good answer. Good answer.
I knew he had it in him. All right. Next up, Dr. Joseph. Keep it rolling. Top 3 answers are off the board.
Well, I'll give the one that I had after my second injection. My first injection, I didn't really have anything, but my second injection, I had body aches. Body aches were a big thing after my second injection. They went away after about 24 hours. I don't know what to call them there, but that's what I'm gonna go with.
And that is my #4 answer, actually. It's body aches. I promise you, I'm not cheating.
Okay,
This is on my piece of paper.
Good answer.
You can make this 5 for 5 with the correct answer of a common side effect of the vaccine.
I can only go by what I experienced, fatigue.
And just like that, they cleared the board. Tiredness and fatigue. Those are the top 5 side effects.
Yo, that was so dope, guys.
I was actually,
I promise y'all they don't have questions before. I promise
exactly.
that. This is
I'm the only one who has
fair.
this.
This is
I
good. That
promise.
was so good.
Well done. Well done. I mean, now granted, Dr. Hicks gave away almost all of them in his speech, but I just want to make a point, Dr. Hicks, if you could. The side effects that people get after shot 1 or shot 2 of the vaccine, these are common and actually good. That means your body's working, right?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite topics to discuss when it comes to this. People kind of go on and kind of ruminate about the side effects, but that gets a doc like Dr. Joseph, although even when he's going through it, I bet in the back of his mind, as astute a clinician and scientist as I know this brother is, he was like, yes, cool, because this is my immune system priming itself, understanding, okay. And he said it perfectly. He said the first one, not so much. And similar to me, mine was a little bit of a little bit of discomfort at the site for a little bit of time, nothing big. The second one, why? Because like I said earlier, your immune system learns what that's all about with the spike protein being placed. Not that microchip that does not exist, not that poke that does not exist, but the mRNA in the case of the Pfizer and the Moderna, or the DNA portion of the spike protein, which you get with the J&J vaccine. So, with the mRNA ones, the first 2, you get it, and then the second one, you may get more of a robust side effect. And the side effects that y'all listed, and yeah, I may have, jumped the gun a little bit by breaking them down early, but all of you, the ones that were vaccinated, you guys all had personal experience with those side effects. And when you talk to people, they're all the same ones. That you may not have gotten all of them, but you may, if you're going to get any side effects, you may have gotten one or some of the ones that we mentioned. Unlike other things in medicine that people are very mistrustful of, there's certain medications that Dr. Joseph or I may prescribe, and then with 10% of patients, they're dizzy. 5% of patients, they're sleepy. 3%, they get a rash. 2%, they get a terrible headache. It's just kind of like a potpourri of different things. But these vaccines, they're just kind of the cut and dry symptoms that you get when your body is working and the immune system is revved up. And it's a beautiful thing, and guess what you do? Because when I did it, when my teeth started, and I'm doing this and I'm like, cool, this is cool. I got Tylenol for that, or I got Motrin for that. And guess what happened like this? I was fine again. I go to bed, I wake up, and we keep it moving. So these are things that we cannot get overly obsessed with, because these things, there's something that you could easily take care of with Tylenol or Motrin. COVID ain't like that. COVID's not that cool. There's no Tylenol or Motrin for COVID. Sorry. There just is not. And the things that we offer are a lot more involved, and not nearly enough people get it. They don't get it in time. There's certain things that may help, but there's just nothing like getting vaccinated with common side effects. And I'll leave you with one more thing. People over 55 per se tend to get less of a pronounced side effect. And that's just because when you're younger, you got that immune response that is more charged up. So when you're younger, you may get more of something. So when I talk to my mom or I talk to my dad, who both are fully vaccinated, and I asked them, how'd you feel after the second one? Because I'm like a little worried, when I was a little chilly, I'm like, man, I don't want my mom to go through this, mama, but she was like, no, I was good. I was fine. It's because she's over 55. And so the percentage of that unwanted side effect that we talked about, even though it's short-lived, for younger people, it's rarely even seen in those older folks. Seasoned saints, as I like to call it.
Yeah, no, I didn't think about that, because my parents have both been vaccinated, and yeah, I called them after the second dose, and they were good. But then my friends who are teachers, after their second doses, most of them the day after the second dose kind of spent the whole day in bed. They were going through whatever, the body aches and chills. So I never knew that difference there. So it's good to know. Especially as this younger generation is now eligible for the vaccine, just be prepared. There might be maybe harsher side effects than maybe your parents or grandparents had.
That's because we were grown up different. We grew up different than y'all.
Okay.
So that's a whole nother conversation.
We all drink out the hose. No, come on now.
You ain't drink out the same hose we drank out of. Don't even go there, baby. You ain't drink out that one.
Fair enough. I ain't gonna argue. I can't argue my elders. All right, we're going to question 5. So Pastor Lamar, Bridget, it's your chance to get your team started on the right foot here. We have a good one here. This is one a lot of people talk about. Top 5 answers on the board. Name a measure that was taken in order to get the vaccine approved quickly.
Repeat.
Name a measure that was taken to make sure the vaccine was approved quickly.
It was given to different people.
Trials.
Trials.
Wait, so are you answering his question, Bridget? Or
I'm just answering it for me. I'm saying it's trials. The trials were pushed so that it could be done fast.
You know what? I'm going to take your answer because I think Pastor Lamar didn't really.
Good answer.
And that's the number 2 answer. So that is a good answer. But Pastor Lamar, I'll give you a chance. You can get the number 1 answer if you can find it in your head.
Okay, I just said it was given many tests. Is that what she just said?
Yeah, she kind of said trials.
Good answer. Woo!
I'm going to give Team Con a chance here. You want to pass or play?
Good answer.
Come on, Pastor. You got it. You got it, Pastor.
Oh, we won.
No, Team Con gets a chance. Bridget, do you want to pass or play?
Play.
They want to play. Sharon, you are next. Mr. Hathaway. Give me a measure that was taken in order to get that vaccine approved quickly.
A rush FDA approval.
Give me a little bit more specific.
Just give me that ding ding. That's all you need to do.
I was looking at that X then now. Sorry.
No,
You gave up on us, Mr. Hathaway.
no, I was right. FDA approval. Just say FDA.
I needed something a little better. Coach, same thing. Something that was done to make sure this vaccine got approved quickly.
Money, they gave funding for it.
That is a number 4 answer. Yes, tremendous government funding. Yes, a lot of money went in to make sure they could get this done quickly. All right, Tyrone, you're up. Something that was done to make sure the vaccine got approved quickly, which I know a lot of people were worried about. So what were some of the things that that were done to make it happen?
Presidential buy-in.
Yeah, I got nothing on that one. Sorry, I was looking at it and I tried. No, that's 2 strikes. Tony, you can save your team here. What you got?
Well, considering that it was never FDA approved, I would say collaboration between companies to work together to make it happen.
You know, I'm gonna go with that one because I'm gonna say we're gonna go with newer vaccine technology and kind of how they collaborated.
Yeah,
yes, I will give you that one. Yes. All right. So that's the number 3 answer. Being very generous on that. All right. So that's number 3. Bridget, back to you. There are 2 answers left. The number 1 answer is still out there, and number 5 answer is still out there.
I'm going to say they combined all of those, what were they called? The different things that y'all had to get approved in order to give the vaccine. Instead of having like 1, 2, and 3 phases, they combined them. Something about that.
That's a no, Matt. I got you.
Yeah, I don't.
Give me that ding ding.
Sorry, I buzzed you twice. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. I might be wrong on that, but I don't know. I don't think that really hits the 2 answers I have. All right, Team Pro, you have a chance to steal though. So Marlon, you can pick. You can decide to choose to steal it or let someone else on your team have a choice.
We got an X's. We got
one
one
X. That was your 3rd strike.
We got one more.
No, because maybe you do. I'll trust you.
We got one more.
All right, trust you. All right.
How did I get 3? How did I get 4? What did I get 4? Y'all done changed.
No, we only had 2.
You got 3.
We have 1 right answer.
We have 1 right answer, and then we had 2 people answer wrong.
All right. So it's on you now. All the pressure's on you.
I'll blame you, Steve.
All right, so what's your answer?
I say the question again.
A measure that was taken in order to make sure the vaccine was made quickly or approved quickly.
Availability. They wanted to make sure that there was availability.
What do you mean by that?
Well, there's some things that are available, some things that are not. So because the vaccine has been made available, that there are more people available.
Okay, just stop.
No, he said there's some things that are available and some things that are not.
Okay, to the circle. All right.
I can't.
Marlon, you or someone from your team can choose to steal. You cannot choose Dr. Joseph.
That was who I was going to choose.
Yeah, that's cheating.
Yeah. No, Dr. Joseph. Sorry.
Because I know he has God on his side. I'm going to pass it to Pastor Lamar.
All right, Pastor Lamar. All the pressure's on you.
Did they already say the clinical trials?
They did say that. Give me something else.
To get approved quickly.
Act of God.
10 seconds up.
Good answer. Good answer.
Act of God, the answer?
Yeah.
Good answer.
Who's going to say no?
No. All right, Team Con gets the points.
And to elaborate on what Mr. Hathaway was saying, I think he was talking about availability to essential workers first. That made it that pushed
Coach,
it through.
that ain't Coach. That's not what he said.
That's
Coach.
exactly-
But he said
That's
availability.
exactly what he was talking about.
Availability
I
means if
second
it's
that.
available or
That's exactly
not. That is not the answer.
Either way,
that was a good
either
answer.
way, that wasn't an answer.
Availability should have been given, Matt. You gotta give us a little something here.
I know, it wasn't one of my top 5 answers.
He gave y'all some generosity early on.
No,
Y'all
number
got-
five.
Availability is not the
anyway.
answer to that question.
Oh, come on, Tyrone.
That's why y'all need to go take that test, because y'all just making up stuff. You need to go take that test. That's what you need to do.
We
So
just
number
used the
five.
same answer twice a few minutes ago, so.
Go get that vaccine. Go get that vaccine.
This is a real family feud.
It is a
I
real
know.
family feud.
Number
gonna-
5. Hold on. Number
Yes,
5 was
it is.
expedited review by the experts, and number 1 was the fact that they had data and development from previous vaccines that helped. That would be used for similar vaccines. So that's, and Dr. Hicks, if you can kind of talk about that, because I think a lot of people thought, how'd they come up with something so quickly? But if I know right, from what I've heard, they've already been working on stuff like this already. This was just a matter of the money maybe getting this vaccine out faster.
Pass, Dr. Hicks.
I will say that, when you talk to any public health expert, when you talk to Dr. Mashika Roberts, when you talk to, for Columbus Public Health, when you talk to Dr. Joe Mazzola of Franklin County Public Health, when you talk to any leader in the public health sphere or in the infectious disease sphere, when you talk to them in the past decade and they say, what can cause something like that Outbreak movie that we grew up watching? What could possibly do that? They would all tell you a coronavirus outbreak. So scientists knew that coronavirus have the ability to fly around this country and do what COVID-19 did. So they were already testing ways and methods to vaccinate and counteract a coronavirus outbreak. Basically, what they needed to get the thing rolling was what does this certain coronavirus look like? And once this started popping off in Wuhan over a year ago, and once those brave scientists were able to share what the spike protein looked like and shared it with the world, this is science at its best. This is sharing data, being collaborative and saying, this is what this looks like. Those of us in the medical community that have the wherewithal, have the finances, have the scientific backing, have the experience of scaling up a vaccine or getting enough of it to be delivered to human beings as soon as humanly possible. Once they were able to see what the actual the spike protein looked like, then they could say, okay, let's use our technology that we already had ready, either at the NIH or with Pfizer or with Moderna. That's a small company, but has the technology to be able to make this sort of boutique type of vaccine. They were able to get that going. And that was based off of pure, unadulterated scientific rigor for the last decade. So this wasn't just, oh, let's get some pork in a, and kind of draw it up and give it to people, or let's give people some salt water and say that it's going to work. Because this comes to my next point. If, who is not looking at COVID during this past year? The whole world, not just the scientific world, not just y'all's former president, not just, citizens of this country and physicians. Every human being was watching with bated breath. Even if they didn't believe who these, if this was a virus or not, they're still understanding that things were happening and governments were shutting down. So how has there been anything more scrutinized than something like a vaccine to try to counteract a deadly outbreak like this? And what has happened? We have seen that despite all eyeballs on this, this has been done with scientific excellence, quite frankly. And why has it happened so fast? A couple more reasons. Number one, y'all mentioned it perfectly, funding. Again, I'll pick on Dr. Joseph again. As an academic clinician, a lot of his work is funded by the NIH or funded by other sources to lift up the excellent work that he does in endocrinology and in health disparities. So he doesn't just walk in and say, hey, I'm Dr. Joseph, I talk a great game. I went to Morehouse, give me the money so I can do it. They should do that because he went to Morehouse, but I digress. But no, he has to prove it. He has to go through a lot of time and efforts to get something green lighted for the funding. But now that we had a global pandemic, governments and other sources of funding said, here, take the money. And the terrible, not so great term of Operation Warp Speed, the great thing that did was it just said, here's the money. If it doesn't work out for you, okay, but if it does, then we can quickly get this going. And back to the quickly getting this going part that makes people a little bit hesitant. They say, boy, in just a matter of months, we were able to suddenly, quote unquote, suddenly have a vaccine that's been thought to be safe and effective. Well, as a stroke specialist, we do clinical trials in stroke. And when you're doing a trial for something, you sort of have to sit and wait for the people to come in where you look at your study and you say, hey, this person that's in front of me might be good for my study. And then you have to go up to them and try to make sure that everything aligns perfectly. And then you enroll them in a clinical trial for the sake of proving a scientific point. When we are in a global pandemic and it is ravishing and kind of going through our country and this world like wildfire, the one thing that's I guess you could say a silver lining because of that, there are patients everywhere. There are patients that are appropriate for a vaccine trial everywhere. So if you had, say, this coronavirus vaccine sitting on a shelf 5 years ago, what's the point? No one's walking around with COVID-19 in 18. They're not walking around with COVID-19 in 15. They're walking around with COVID-19 in 19, 20, 21. So you need the people around to prove that the vaccine works. And when you have such a, it's like fishing. If you're just, fish in a barrel, the saying. So if there's a bunch of fish in a barrel, then you're able to enroll patients at a very, very high clip. So all of a sudden, a Moderna vaccine has had over 20,000 patients enrolled. Same with Pfizer. These are large numbers of human beings that are part of a trial. Dr. Joseph and other clinicians like myself, we go through the medical journals trying to learn the latest and greatest about certain parts of medicine. And we see, a certain clinical trial had 100 people in it. They had 200 people in it. These are tens of thousands of people. And they showed that efficacy was, meaning, does it do what it's supposed to do, greater than 95% of the time. So once they found that out, the investigators were able to say, okay, time out. Let's show everybody, let's show the FDA, let's show our work. We have this many people and we are protecting them from being in the hospital and from being severely sick at a super high rate. Is this enough to save humanity and make sure that we don't have another year where 500,000 more Americans are dead? And in science, you're able to look and say, have you reached a certain threshold and do we feel comfortable, yes or no? And the answer here was a resounding yes. And there are study after study, all sorts of things in medicine that are approved earlier than initially thought because the data is so alarmingly positive. And that's what we have here. And that's why we are where we are, getting vaccinated and tolerating the vaccine at a very high rate, everybody doing very well with those very kind of soft side effects that are not long lasting. So, those are the topics I wanted to address about this.
Thanks, I appreciate it. As someone who was part of the Ohio State vaccine trial, the AstraZeneca one, I went in, 2 feet first, and that one still hasn't been approved by the FDA, but they're still studying me, and I don't even know if I have it yet. We got to find out soon. But I trust these clinical trials, and hopefully, that's why we see these efficacy rates being so high. Hey, guess what, everybody? That's all the time we have. I want to give the final tally. If you guys got 80 points for Team Con, for 80 points for getting that one. So the final tally was Team Pro 190, Team Con 170. Granted, everybody wins. Everybody wins.
Everybody's a winner.
Everybody wins. The score.
Everybody wins because everyone wins nothing. But we all want information. Hopefully, a nice, lively discussion. Had a good time. I know there are some questions in the chat here, Dr. Hicks. If you can see those, and if you can kind of comment, if you want to type your answers in the chat there. There's some people that I know have some questions before we head off. But in the meantime, I know Mr. Gregory, the CEO of the African American Male Wellness Agency, wants to give some closing remarks. Thank you all so much for being a part of this. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank
Mr. Gregory,
you,
take it away.
Thank you,
Matt. Before we get to that, before
Matt.
Mr. Gregory closes us out, just for the public, there's a few locations for you to get the vaccine. The Equitas Health Pharmacy King Lincoln location, if you're in the 43203, 43205 area, Franklin County Public Health, OSU East Hospital, Columbus Public Health, Walgreens, all the Kroger. Just so you guys know, there's some locations there for you guys to get the vaccine. You guys been great. Mr. Gregory.
Can you put that in the chat?
Dana,
Good job, Dana.
Dana, you're doing a pop-up shot at the Urban League on
Oh, yes,
Sunday.
yes. Sorry about that. Sunday. Thank you, President Hightower. Sunday, Equitas, Urban League, and us, we're having a free vaccine event. So call the main number for the Urban League in order to register. The slots are filling up pretty fast. I mean, so we had a few slots. We have a few slots available, but that's going to be Sunday. And yeah.
President Hightower, do you want to get that
There's
number?
always going to be a waste list, so come over there and sit in the parking lot if you want to be on the waste list.
They're giving them at Friendship Baptist Church also, Saturday.
So Saturday, Friendship Baptist, and then
Sunday at the parking lot of the Columbus Urban League. I believe 788 Mount Vernon Avenue.
There you go.
867.
All right, Mr. Gregory, take us out.
You gotta unmute yourself.
John, unmute.
I'm trying to unmute. Hello. Hey, everybody. I just want to say to everybody who participated tonight, this is going to be our effort as the African American Male Wellness Agency, and as we partner with all the agencies that are signed on to take the message to the African American community in a way that's that we can understand it, that we need to get vaccinated, and because the vaccination is good for our community. And so we wanted to make it informative. So Dr. Hicks, we thank you for your information. You did a very good job of explaining it. We thank all of our participants, but to the African American community, what we want to say is you got the information, you're very informed. You now can make the decision that you should go get vaccinated so our community can be saved. And so to everybody, good night. We appreciate you. Stay tuned for our next event. We're going to have an event where we're going to have people who didn't take the vaccine, who got COVID, and now I'm going to give a testimony of why they're going to take the vaccine. So, hey, everybody, have a good night, and we appreciate you.
Thanks, John.
All right,
Thank
everybody
everyone.
come off their mute. Everybody come off their mute and let's say a round of applause for our first kickoff event for Black.
Thanks, John.
All right, great job, Dana.
That was fun.
Thank you,
Awesome.
So much fun.
Great
Thank
job.
you
Y'all
so
a
much,
trip.
everybody, for being a good sport. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thanks for getting
yourself
me
a
before.
Be a gift to yourself. Yes.
That's right.
Give yourself the gift of
everybody.
quality of life.
All right, I know
Doing
that's
your
right,
research.
Michelle. Woo.
Do your
One for the road.
research.
Thank you,
Do your
Matt.
research.
Just
Thank
for
you,
fun.
everybody.